Hello worldo, this is Wolfstar Games, it's Anton, and welcome back to more AI the Somnium Files. Last time, Date interrogated Iris, and that led into him delving into her somnium, and least to say, it got dark very fast. I was not expecting it to get so dark. I was thinking about everything that I went through in Iris's Somnium, and I couldn't help but kind of make a couple of connections here. I mean, last time I had, put the theory out there that of Date being the Cyclops killer from back then, and I'm actually sticking to that because looking at the character, silhouette model of him in the Iris' Somnium, he's purple. And I'm like, wait a minute. Date has a little bit of purple on the inside of his collar. So I couldn't help but make that little connection. I mean, that could be just a coincidence, but it's just something that my mind latched onto. And then I was like, wait a minute. If Date was there, being the Cyclops killer, Iris was also there. Like either witness to it, or she was a victim as well. And I was like, wait a minute, wasn't there another figure there? A pink figure? So I went back to look, and the figure is more like red in color, but I'm like, that still works. I mean, while the figure isn't pink, red and pink are both on the, same, color spectrum. So I feel like that fits. I mean, granted, this is just a theory, but it's just something that like I said, latched onto. And one other thing that I was thinking about is that they were trying to peg Iris of being the Cyclops killer from 6 years ago, but I'm like, wait a minute. So I looked at her, her profile again, and I'm like, her age is currently 18 in game. 6 years ago, she would have been 12. So I'm like, wait a minute, that can't quite be right, can it? I mean, a 12-year-old being the Cyclops killer? I mean, sure, I guess it could be possible, but, with what I said last time of children being capable of a lot, even murder, with, being a serial killer, I kind of have a hard time believing that a 12-year-old in a video game or in real life having the mental fortitude to being a serial killer. At least I think so. I mean, it's a very heavy subject to talk about, child murderers. I mean, history has shown us that children are capable of murder. But to my knowledge, I've never heard of a child serial killer. I mean, there may have been, but I've just never heard one being so, but it's just kind of interesting to talk about, and like I said, it's a heavy subject matter to talk about, but it's something that I can't help but think that Iris 6 years ago, at the age of 12, I feel like that doesn't quite add up with her being pegged as the Cyclops killer. So, I don't know. I have a hard time believing that. I mean, if anything, it seems more of a strong possibility that Date is the original Cyclops killer, but he doesn't remember being the Cyclops killer, because his memories are gone from past that point in his life 6 years ago. So, I mean, I feel like it's a point of conjunction that doesn't quite fit together with Iris, but it's way more of a point of conjunction with Date being the Cyclops killer. And I just wonder if that's true or not. I mean, right now it's a theory. We'll see if I'm actually right. And if I am right, I'll be, pretty surprised, I'd say. Date currently is so aloof and, kind of a jokester. So if he was the Cyclops killer from back then, it's like, what did the police do? Completely change his personality somehow? It's like, I don't know. It's like, I mean, this game is set in the future, so it could be possible that, the police or some higher up would have enough pull to reform a serial killer so much to the point where they can completely rewrite their memory. I mean, it's just an interesting avenue that this game could take, I feel. Whether my theories are correct or not, that's another thing. But we'll find out. So, it's like I wanted to bring all this up before we got back into things. So, with that now all said and done, let's finally get back to it, shall we? Alright. So, last we left off, I should say, we just got out of Iris's Somnium. And I mean, I've already looked at everything before in here, so I kind of doubt there'd be anything new to comment on, but I'm just gonna go through real quick to see if there is anything new. A CRT monitor.
Date, can you turn on the TV?
Sure. Are you expecting Samara to come out of the TV like you wanted to last time?
Videodrone is about to start.
Videodrone?
What's Videodrone?
You haven't seen Videodrone? It's a cult classic.
Videodrone. I'm trying to think what that's referencing, and I'm coming up blank.
I haven't seen it, and that's not a TV anyway.
Well, that was new, so it's like that. Yeah, but with Videodrome, I'm not sure what she is referencing. And I'm Mr. Reference. I tend to make a lot of references. I opened it up, there's a bunch of Marimos? I'm not entirely sure how you say that. Inside. A locker. What in the world? What is this, voice? In this laugh?
Hey, did you hear something just now?
I mean, that wasn't Iva, was it?
It must be in your head.
Well, you're in my head, so... I want to say that it was you, Iva. I mean, technically she is in his head. She's in his eye socket. Lock her in the corner. That was weird. Boss, you're kind of in the way to look at Iris through the window there. You do not make for a good window. I'm sorry. Oh, hey. Now I saw her, but only briefly. Boss, lift up your arm again. Darn it. Well, I guess all that's left to do is to talk to Boss Computer. Let's see. The blue figure from the sink. Blue? I honestly thought he looked more purple than blue.
Help me understand this. What I saw during the sink earlier, that was the scene of the original Cyclops serial killings, right?
I mean, sure looked that way.
Yeah.
So the person doing the killing was the original Cyclops killer.
Right.
Did you see him? He was...
I saw your face.
Yeah.
The original Cyclops killer was...
You, Date, right?
It can't be. That's impossible.
Date, you cannot say that for certain.
It's like, what exactly happened? I mean, this is really intriguing.
You have no memories past 6 years ago.
So perhaps, Mr. Date, you are the killer.
So that's an interesting thing that the computer said. Kind of like foreshadowing in a way, I guess. And I was just thinking, with Date like being the Cyclops killer, and since they are noticing that, I was just thinking, if Date is the Cyclops killer, what was he like before he lost his memories? Exactly. I mean, he was so messed up in the head enough to kill a bunch of women. We know that, but what was he like before? And actually, now I'm wondering, before Date lost his memories of being like the Cyclops killer, was he already a cop at that point or not? I mean, if he was, maybe he had like a psychotic break or something, and he turned, psycho and became the Cyclops killer. But then they managed to rein him in and overwrite his memories. I'm just kind of throwing out theories at this point now.
You're missing your left eye.
But we clearly saw in the mirror that he had his left eye then.
So you steal them from others.
Boss? Iba? Date?
I'm kidding.
Come on, boss.
You can't be the Cyclops killer.
It's like, don't be so quick to rule Date out as the Cyclops killer. Come on.
Really?
Of course not. Do you think I would hire a serial killer?
It's like, what if they had Date become a police officer after losing his memories to keep a close eye on him? Just to make sure that he doesn't have a relapse and, you know, kill again. I don't know. I really am just throwing out theories at this point.
You interrogated Iris before the sync.
Yeah.
What you saw in the Somnium was just a manifestation of the fear you put in her.
No, that doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem to, like, add up. I mean, your Somnium is like the deepest recesses of your mind. I mean, Somnium, dreams. I mean, sure, dreams can be very malleable and, you know, change depending on the person. But, you know, what you take in throughout your daily life, in your when you're awake, when you dream, you more or less dream about things in your life. And a lot of the times, those dreams can be very abstract. I mean, hell, I remember when I was a kid, I had very abstract dreams. And every now and then, I still do. What about the other original Cyclops serial killings? Yeah, let's go with that.
The Cyclops killer appeared 6 years ago. I lost my memory 6 years ago.
I mean, I feel like it's not just a coincidence.
There has to be some kind of connection.
Yeah.
There isn't. It's a coincidence.
It can't be.
Really?
Really.
I think otherwise. I really do. About the original Cyclops serial killings, why did the original Cyclops killer appear in Iris' Somnium? Now, let's go with that one first.
You can't dream of something you know nothing about.
Yes, you can. I mean, even though that most of your waking life, you know what you're seeing throughout the day and everything, but you can inadvertently take something in that you don't know anything about from someone else, and that can be incorporated in your own life, whether it's awake, whether you're awake or dreaming. At least that's the way I like to look at it.
That means Iris must know about the killings.
I mean, she has to. I mean, this was her Somnium.
6 years ago, Iris was 12.
Yes, like I have already mentioned.
Did she witness the crime at age 12?
It's like either she witnessed it or she was a victim.
And not just one, but all four?
Indeed. About the original Cyclops serial killers.
Didn't I tell you? The entire case is a state secret.
State secret? I don't remember her saying that before.
No matter how many times you ask, I won't tell you anything.
Oh wait, now I do remember her saying that before. Is that it? Boss has a serious look on her face. Okay, now, Pewter. What do you got for me, Pewter? Let's see. The red figure from the sink.
In the Somnium earlier, I saw someone else who might be the criminal.
Criminal or not? I mean, that is a bit of a questionable topic there. It's like who was the other figure exactly? It's like, was it Iris or not? I mean, I want to say that it was Iris, but at the same time, the other question is, was that person a criminal themselves or not? Were they actually just a witness or a victim?
Who was he?
He? That could be just generalizing.
I wouldn't know.
It could be just generalizing, since they're just, colored figures who have no distinguishable, facial features or, body type. My controller is getting tangled in my cord. Let's see. Why did the original Cyclops killer appear in Iris' Somnium?
The sinker does not always experience the somnium they expect.
As we just witnessed.
Dreams are pieced together from memories, even repressed subconscious ones.
Yup. I actually remember in college, with, I think it was like 2 or 3 other classmates of us, actually talking about dreams as a topping, as a topping point. Yes, as a talking point. And it was really fascinating to actually do some of the research about dreams. I don't remember too terribly much of what I learned, but all the same, it was fascinating to read how dreams kind of work.
When using the sync machine for an investigation, we don't always see the memories we expect to see.
Yes.
True, oftentimes a subject will subconsciously want to express their dark secrets and repressed memories.
And it's even and if I remember correctly, I believe it's also even possible for, even in a subconscious state, you can suppress those repressed or memories or dark secrets.
That is why we see them so often in Somnia. And why those Somnia are so useful for criminal investigations. But this is not a guarantee.
Of course.
We cannot control the content of our dreams, after all.
Very true. Most of the time, I feel. I mean, I guess just look at, like, you know, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. It's like, it's so difficult for the teenagers who dream about Freddy to actually try and come out on top to defeat him. And even though he enters your dreams, it's like you can't come out of your dream until you actually defeat him, you know? Why did the original Cyclops killer appear in Iris's Somnium?
It's like I told you before. Dreams are pieced together from memories, even repressed subconscious ones. This can be expressed as an equation. Dream D equals memory A plus memory B plus memory C.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very straightforward way to look at it.
This, of course, means that Dream D is a fictional event. However, the same cannot necessarily be said about memory A, B, and C.
I mean, I guess while a dream could technically be fictional, it's made up of your memories and of what you experience in life. So it's kind of technically fictional, but not really.
Those happened in reality. In other words, fiction is built from combinations of reality.
I mean, sure, I can agree with that to a certain extent.
So what I saw in Somnium earlier...
Yes, I believe Iris actually witnessed those events.
I believe so too. Whether as an actual witness or as a victim. About the original Cyclops killer.
Remember what the boss said this morning. The original Cyclops killer has yet to be brought to justice. After the investigation got going, it was taken over by the government and classified.
It's like, who was it that made it so that it was taken over by the government?
That was the last we heard anything about it.
Had to have been someone in a much higher echelon of power. Like a congressman? I just wonder now. I wonder if So might have some information for us.
Of course, they paid lip service to the idea that the investigation was ongoing. But in reality, it was dropped completely.
Are all memories real?
Pewter, you said that memories happen in reality, right? But what about false memories?
That's a really good question. False memories. I mean, like, with Date, he doesn't remember his life from past 6 years ago. What if his memories currently are false?
How do we know if the memory really happened?
Even false memories are built from the pieces of real ones.
Sure. I mean, I can definitely believe that.
If you disassemble those pieces, you will find real events.
What about things you see in movies or television?
Yeah.
The events might be fictional, but the experience is not.
Right, yes.
Our imaginations are limited to what we have seen. We cannot invent something whole cloth.
Cannot invent something whole cloth. That's a very interesting saying. About the original and new incidents.
I don't believe there's any meaningful connection.
But what if there is?
Between the original and new Cyclops serial killings, I mean.
No, I knew what you meant.
Why is that?
The culprit is not the same.
I mean, I'd say that much is clear. The culprit is definitely not the same. I mean, the original Cyclops killer had a very specific MO. And the new one doesn't quite follow the original's MO. Not quite, anyway. So, I want to say it's like a bad copycat.
I am absolutely certain the original Cyclops killer could not have committed these crimes.
The new ones, yeah.
How can you be so sure?
For one, Ranger's male. All the original killings were female.
Because I can. Don't worry about it. Just trust me.
Okay. Summarize for me. I didn't learn anything from speaking with Boss and Pewter. If anything, the mystery only grew deeper. That's for sure, yes. And I'm always down for a good mystery. Pewter shook me from my thoughts.
Dante, it looks like Iris is about to wake up.
Got it.
I headed to the sink room. Oh boy.
Hey, Iris. About that dream earlier.
Did she see everything too? I mean, she had to have, right?
Dream? What dream?
I feel like she's putting up a wall here.
There is no point in asking her, Date. The subject of a sink does not experience somnium in the way that you do.
Okay, I was wondering that.
They will not remember it.
Then what about the Cyclops killer from 6 years ago?
Cyclops killer? I remember hearing it on the news.
She remembers hearing it on the news. Okay. It's like she must have really repressed memories and dreams of actually being in close proximity to the original Cyclops killer.
But I was just a little girl. I don't remember anything specific.
You don't?
No,
What about the scene of the murder?
I don't know. I've never been there.
But
Dreams are pieced together from memories, even repressed subconscious ones.
You can't dream of something you know nothing about.
It's like, I so disagree with that. So disagree with it.
Date, could you take Iris home?
Of course he can, right, Date?
Huh?
We do not have enough evidence to hold her. Even in Somnium, we couldn't find anything.
But I feel like we found a lot, though. I mean, it was the Cyclops killer's, like, past. The original. That's huge.
The law demands that we release her.
You cannot decline, Date.
Yeah. I really wonder where this is all gonna go. Where this is all going to, like, lead Date.
Date, could we make a stop first?
Where at?
Sure. Where?
Marble. It's a bar in Golden Yokocho.
Why there?
You know about that place?
Yeah, Mr. Okiura took me before.
Why would Renju take Iris to a bar?
Why do you want to go there?
There's something I want to talk about.
Okay.
We can't talk here?
Yeah, it's like, you're just right in the car next to me. It's like, why don't we talk about this while we're on the way to your home? You know?
It might take a while.
Like, how long?
What do you think?
There's no reason to refuse.
Mm.
Besides, there's a lot I want to ask her, too. Alright, sure.
Iris nodded and pulled out her phone. Is she sending a Nile message to someone? More than likely. And it's more than likely to Ota. I was curious, but I didn't want to pry. I turned the wheel and drove to Marble. Okay. Off to Marble. Also back to Mama. When we walked in, I didn't see Mama anywhere. Oh! To my surprise, I saw Ota sitting at the counter. Did Iris ask Ota to come?
Tessa!
Oh, Ota!
Or is he already here? Don't give me that look, Ota. You little punk. I say that amicably, though. Are we gonna count the bottles again? Please say yes. There are bottles lined up at the counter. Darn it. I wanted him to count the bottles again. Iris is standing next to me. You called Ota here?
No, I didn't tell him to come.
Are you lying to me, Iris?
He just showed up on his own.
Sure he did. Okay. Okay, Ota. If Iris didn't call you here, why are you here? Let's see. Where's Mama? Isn't your phone broken? He has it in his hand. If his phone was broken, why would he have it in his hand?
No, this is my new one.
Your new one, huh?
You're thinking of the one I dropped in that puddle.
Okay. Let's see. I never thought I'd run into you here. Yeah, really.
I was nihiling with Tessa earlier.
Nihiling. I guess that this would be the game's way of saying texting.
She said she was going to Marble, so...
You thought you'd join us, huh?
I got here just before you did.
Just as I figured.
Look, I was really worried about her.
It's like, Ota is so obsessed with Iris. And of course, he would be worried about his obsession, right? So he wanted to check in on her. I can understand that. But at the same time, I feel like Ota's going a little bit too far in his obsession with Iris. That's just me.
She was about to be charged with a serious crime.
Where's Mama?
Oh, she left a little while ago.
Where did she go?
She said something about going to help an acquaintance.
An acquaintance? Huh. Who would that be?
She told me to watch the place until she got back.
Huh.
How well do you know Mama?
Not at all. It's my first time here.
That's not surprising, actually. I wasn't particularly surprised. It's like, I'm on the same wavelength as Date. Mama's always depended on the kindness of strangers, ever since she opened Marble. It's... I don't know if I should take that as that Mama is very open-minded, or she's very naive. Or maybe she's a little bit of both. I don't know. What was that thing about?
This actually works out nicely. I want to ask you something, Ota. It's about a Nile message you sent Iris. You said you wouldn't tell anyone about that thing.
Yeah, what is that thing exactly?
That you'd stay quiet no matter what. What were you talking about?
Well,
It's like, spill it, Ota.
I'll tell her about the two-witter thing. I swear I'll do it.
Date's being a little shrewd.
geez, fine. Just don't tell anyone else, okay? But before I tell you, who's that?
Huh?
What?
At the door. Someone's standing outside.
Who else is here? I mean, it can't be Mizuki. They know, Ota and Iris know her. Who else would it be? Ugh! Wow. Oh. That affected Aiba too. God damn it, Ota! You little... He is a little punk. Oh boy. Why, Ota? Why? When I woke up, I was lying on the sofa.
Where am I?
My head was killing me, and my memory was foggy. I felt a sudden pain in my neck. Oh, hi, Mama. I shut up, rubbing my neck. When I looked over the counter, I saw a monster staring back at me. A monster? Not hardly. I'd say she's pretty harmless. It took me a few seconds before I realized it was just Mama.
It looks like you're awake now.
As Mama spoke to me, it all came rushing back. I remembered everything. I remembered Ota flipping, tasing me. Okay, Ota. Let's go. One-on-one. Let's see. What time is it?
It'll be 3 o'clock soon.
3 o'clock a.m.?
In the morning, of course.
I figured. How long was Date out? Where's Ota?
Ota? The boy I asked to watch the bar?
Yes.
I'd say he's too old to be called a boy, but yeah.
I mean, you're really never too old to be called a boy, really? I mean, I'm kind of pushing 40. And every now and then I'm called a boy. Especially coming from someone who's, older than me.
He was already gone when I came back. All I saw was you getting your beauty sleep on the floor.
Why didn't you wake me?
Damn it, Ota. What are you thinking?
Yeah, really?
It appears that he took off with Iris.
Where did they go?
What were you doing during all this?
Apparently the taser affected Iba too. It's like she couldn't do anything.
My power was shut down due to the stun
Yeah.
gun. I have rebooted in safe mode and am now operational.
Okay, good. It's like that even though that it affected her, she seems to be okay. Why didn't you wake me up?
I tried. You wouldn't budge.
Is Date that heavy of a sleeper?
I thought you were passed out drunk, so I left you like that.
I mean, I could buy that with Date, but that's not what happened.
But I didn't have a glass in front of me, right?
That's right.
So you weren't drunk?
Yes.
Didn't have a single drop.
Oh, I thought you were drinking straight out of the bottle.
Has Date been known to do that?
Just like the old days.
Well, I guess that answers my question. Oh, phone call.
Date, the boss is calling.
Okay.
Oh, how am I gonna report this one?
Yeah, really.
Date, listen. Stay calm, but this is an emergency.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Just now, the killer... Well, just watch the video.
Okay. What happened?
I sent the address to Iba.
Iris!
That's a huge saw blade.
No, that's...
Why do I get the feeling that this is fake?
The criminal is streaming this live.
Iba, the source.
Identified. The Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse, Koto District.
Renju's fishery called Renju's warehouse. Okay. I really like this music.
Okiura?
Date, focus. We need to get to the site, now.
I thanked Mama and ran out of marble. Oh boy.
What's our ETA?
I mean, seriously, I feel like this is a red herring. That is completely fake. I mean, Ota just took Iris. I mean, I want to say Ota is, you know, pretty much a hapless, obsessed, quote-unquote little boy. But is he really the killer? I don't know. It seems all too easy, all too convenient to peg him as the new Cyclops killer.
Our destination is far from here. 20 minutes at the fastest.
20 minutes? That's almost too long.
Please, please let me make it in time.
That
sick bastard.
Is that a polar bear? This has to be fake. I mean, her...
Tessa! Hold on, I'll save you!
Ota?
Yeah, this is all staged. This is so staged.
Stay away from Tessa! Ah!
Who's in the polar bear suit? I kept my foot to the gas the whole time. I could feel the sweat on my palms. The engine raised a high-pitched scream, but I could barely hear it. My heartbeat was pounding in my ears, shaking me to the core. How much time had passed? The feeling of time itself had disappeared. Eventually, the car reached a long bridge. Shortly after, the image changed. Now what? Hello, Mr. Polar Bear?
No, it can't be.
Why a polar bear?
No. Stop!
You aren't really gonna believe that this is real, Date, are you?
No!
I mean, nice blood effect, but I still don't believe it. Iba?
No!
Harbor Warehouse District. Mr. Mario Andretti over here. Nice, nice turn there, Date. Huh. Interesting. I want to know who is in the polar bear suit.
Ota.
I mean, that does make sense. I mean, the polar bear came up, pulled the switch. Ota could have just gotten out of the suit and then went up, and yeah. That part, I feel, is definitely staged. Because it was all within one, frame. It's like Ota could have easily switched out from the polar bear suit and back again. But then, Ota being dead? Is he actually dead?
There you are. Finally. I was looking all over for you. It's rare to see you down like this. But it's understandable. You blame yourself for this, don't you?
Ota is actually dead?
Beating yourself up about taking Iris to Marble. And about letting Ota get the upper hand on you.
I mean, sure, he got the upper hand on me, but something else happened, didn't it? I mean, why was it Ota the one who died?
Am I right? Shall I tell you what Investigation HQ thinks?
Sure. If you can actually tell me.
Ota Matsushita is a criminal stalker who committed murder-suicide.
Murder-suicide.
Ota had a selfish love for Iris.
Yeah, Iris was his obsession.
He was under the delusion that Iris loved him too.
But she doesn't. I mean, she's an idol, for one. It's like she puts on an act. She's an actor.
But Iris refused Ota. So Ota decided that he and Iris should be together in the afterlife, killed her, then killed himself.
They are actually dead?
That's ridiculous. Ota would never kill Iris.
My mind is reeling.
And how do you explain the other two murders? Iris's left eye was hollowed out. Just like Renju and Shoko. Those 3 murders were definitely executed by the same person. The new Cyclops killer. There's no way that's Ota. Too many pieces don't fit.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Date.
Too many contradictions, like killing Iris.
Such as?
Oh my god. This took quite a turn. Oh man. And I honestly don't know what to think right now. Good lord. I mean, both Ota and Iris are indeed dead? Ota's behavior during the video, what was the polar bear costume, and Ota had no incentive to kill Renju. Which one do I want to go with first? I mean, what was the deal with the polar bear costume anyway? Why a polar bear of all things?
The culprit was wearing a polar bear costume, probably to hide their identity. But if murder-suicide was the plan, the costume served no purpose.
That's a good point. I mean, if Ota wanted to commit murder-suicide, as they're putting it, he would have, visibly, as himself, kill Iris, but not as a polar bear. Let's see, Ota's behavior during the video.
Stay away from Tessa!
It's like
Ota showed himself on the stream.
yeah. It's like he was putting, on an act.
If he was gonna kill Iris and then himself, why would he do that? The only reason you would show yourself like that is to prove that you weren't the culprit.
Yeah. The way he was acting, yeah.
Ota and the polar bear on the screen at the same time would prove that they're not the same person. That behavior would be totally unnecessary if he was gonna commit suicide anyway.
Well, maybe he wasn't planning on dying at first. After he killed Iris, he realized that he couldn't live with himself.
Sure. I could believe that.
So he lies down on the workbench and turns on the ice cutting machine himself?
How would he do that? That doesn't make sense, does it? It's the lever. The lever is too far away for him to activate. He would have to get up and activate it, and then lay back down. It's like, and the saw blade. Well, I mean, the saw blade comes down kind of slowly, so there could be enough time to activate the lever, activate the saw blade, and then lay back down on the bench. So that could be a possibility, I guess.
I don't buy it.
Ota had no incentive to kill Renju.
Maybe he was thinking like this. The reason Iris and I can't be together is because her agency prohibits it.
Because she's an idol.
Making the president, Renju, the ultimate bad guy in his mind.
Mizuki is Ota's close friend.
Yes, she is.
Do you really think Ota would kill his friend's father?
And then kill her best friend as well? Ota had no incentive to kill Shoko.
Shoko was married to Renju. Maybe he was trying to get at Renju by killing her.
I mean, maybe, but I feel like that's reaching a little bit.
That's a stretch.
Date and I are on the same page.
They've been divorced for years. Ota knows all about it. He wouldn't use Shoko to get to Renju.
There are some additional discrepancies.
What are those?
I analyzed the investigation report. Judging by his wound, Ota was stabbed in the side by a kitchen knife or something similar.
Stabbed in the side by a kitchen knife? Huh. So, what? Stabbed in the side by a kitchen knife and then cut in half? There would be no need for the saw blade. Just use the kitchen knife. Or something similar. It's like, why take things even farther? By making a spectacle of his death. Of him being under the saw blade. Or should I say, in the saw blade.
Are you sure?
I am.
I told the boss what Iba found.
Oh, I know that.
You do.
Well?
Ota could have stabbed himself. Maybe he thought it would be a fatal wound, but when it didn't work, he went for the ice-cutting machine.
Then, shouldn't we have recovered the kitchen knife from the scene?
Maybe he threw it in the ocean.
Boss, come on. Ota goes out to the water, stabs himself in the gut, throws the knife over the side, then walks back to the warehouse?
This all just seems so fishy, doesn't it? And I'm not trying to make a fish pun with it happening at the fishery.
Well, I wasn't being serious. I didn't think Ota was the culprit from the beginning.
But now you think he is the culprit, right?
I was just playing devil's advocate for HQ.
Really?
Yes, really.
Anyway, Ota didn't kill anyone, and he didn't kill himself. Here's what I think happened.
Stay away from Tessa!
Ota knew Iris was kidnapped, so he rushed onto the scene. That's when he saw the culprit wearing the polar bear costume. He tried to fight him off, but ended up being stabbed in the side. He was weakened and losing blood at the culprit's mercy. The culprit forced him into the costume, then under the ice-cutting machine. And then...
Then, who is the culprit?
That's the million-dollar question right now. Who's the culprit for all these murders? And wait a minute. If it's the Cyclops killer, that's another discrepancy. Ota's eye was not taken out. He was just killed with the saw blade. Which also doesn't match the original MO, the original Cyclops killer's MO.
I wish I knew.
We're up to 4 victims. But Ota was a special circumstance. He wasn't specifically targeted by the culprit.
It was Iris who was targeted. And what? Ota got in the way? So, what, the Cyclops killer... Just to get rid of him? He killed Ota? That also doesn't make sense.
Right. And he was the only one to not have his eye pulled out.
Exactly.
So let's focus on the 3 other victims.
Whose eyes were pulled out.
Shoko, Renju, and Iris. What connects these 3?
Connections.
If you find a connection between the victims, you find a connection to the culprit. That's the theory of investigation, right?
Yes.
You think the new Cyclops killer is related to them somehow?
Maybe, maybe not. But it's a good starting point.
Oh, man. I don't know what to think now. It's like, this is like completely subverting my expectations of what was going on. What has been going on, I should say. My God. It's like, I feel like this is a really well-crafted, like, murder plot. Man. It's almost unfathomable to think that this is just one person who's doing all this. I guess that begs the question, is it one person? Or is it more than one person? I don't know. Good Lord, this has gone in a direction that I was not quite expecting. I mean, now both Ota and Iris dead. It's like, good Lord. That's, now that I actually think about it, that's 2 more people close to Mizuki who are now dead. First her parents, now her best friends. Who would kill those closest to Mizuki? I mean, this all seems so complicated that it's, trying to piece it all out and trying to think up like any like kind of theory about it is actually quite difficult. And I feel kind of at my wit's end trying to figure it out before before it's all answered for me. I mean, I'll try my best to try and figure it out on my own before the game tells me. I mean, I like to analyze to the best of my ability and theorize, But right now, this game has really thrown a curveball. I mean, this is a doozy now. Who would kill everyone who's close to Mizuki? It's like, who's going to be next? Date? I mean, it can't be Date that's doing it, especially seeing that he's the one who saw the, live video on the way to the fishery. So that couldn't have been him. I mean, it has to be someone else. The question is who? Who would want all these people dead? Is it someone we haven't met yet? I feel like it's someone we haven't met yet. And so far, we haven't gotten a whole lot of people involved in this story. Oh, man. Well, while my mind is going to continue reeling for quite a while, so I hope you all enjoyed my confusion here, because I am thoroughly confused of what's going on now. So let's leave things off with my massive confusion, shall we? So yes, I'm stopping it here. So I hope you all enjoyed watching, and thank you all for watching as well. And if you enjoyed the video and want to see more, like, favorite, and claw that subscribe button to become part of the pack. And as always, everyone, I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, wherever you may be.